John McCain was against the government bailout of AIG before he was reluctantly for it. Here he was yesterday on the Today Show.
We cannot have the taxpayers bail out AIG or anybody else. This is something that we're going to have to work through.
Asked about the same topic today on Good Morning America.
I don't think anybody I know wanted to do that, but there were literally millions of people whose retirement, whose investments, whose insurance were at risk here, and they were going to have their lives destroyed.
Senator McCain appears to have changed his tune on regulation in a fundamental way. These days, out on the stump, he's a champion of reining in Wall Street with tough regulations.
We're going to put an end to the reckless conduct, corruption, and unbridled greed that have caused a crisis on Wall Street.
But for more than 25 years in the Senate, McCain has fashioned himself a champion of smaller government, less regulation.
I am less government, less regulation, lower taxes, et cetera, et cetera.
In the mid-1990s, he supported a measure to ban all new government regulations. McCain supported legislation a decade ago that broke down the firewalls between banks, investment houses, and insurance companies, the very rules that companies like AIG exploited to get into the current mess. And as recently as March of this year, after the collapse of Bear Stearns, McCain was all for deregulating Wall Street.
Our financial market approach should include encouraging increased capital in financial institutions by removing regulatory, accounting, and tax impediments to raising capital.
When deregulation was the wave in Washington, he surfed that wave. Now it's not, and the populist inside John McCain is out.
Today, the Wall Street Journal accused McCain of selling out his free market ideals. Said today's lead editorial, denouncing greed and Wall Street isn't a growth agenda.
It's a conversion of convenience, some will say.
Today, we reached out to the McCain campaign for a response. They insist he's not a Johnny-come-lately on this. They point out that 2 years ago, he called for Congress to shore up the regulations for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, among other things. Has there been a change in emphasis? For sure, they say. But, Charlie, they say that's because we're in a crisis.
David Wright reporting tonight.